Hi, everybody. Sherry Leopold here. And as always, I'm honored because I get to share some incredible authors with you. The newest book out is Action Takers Who Step Up and Speak Out, empowering stories today to change a life tomorrow. And you are lucky because you're going to get to hear some of those stories right now. So I want to introduce the people that I have with me today. I have Linda Sunshine West, who also has a story in this book, but is also the publisher as well of Action Take, or the owner of Action Takers Publishing. So, and also Misty Lane, who this was her passion project, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that. And we also have Sylvia Chavez. So I'm so happy to have all of you here.
Yay.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And I'm just going to say this really quickly. I'm so excited to announce that it's already a best-selling book. So like Yahoo on launch day, you
Yes.
get to launch being a best-selling author. So first off, congratulations on that
Thank you.
incredible feat that you have done. So I want to just hop right to Linda Sunshine West because I want to talk to her about a little bit about, because you have the opportunity with her to just bring your passion to her, and she will also help you create your passion project like she did with Misty. So I'm going to bring you to the stage here, Linda, and let you share a little bit about your story and why you chose to contribute a story, because you don't have to as the publisher, but I know this spoke to you. So, Linda.
Yes, definitely. First of all, Sherry, thanks so much for having us. And it's such excitement. It never gets old. This is actually my 24th best-selling book. And, it never gets old to go and, share our stories and make an impact on the planet. So my story in this book the chapter is titled The 3 Sentences That Changed My Life. I was sitting in a conference room. I'll just share briefly, you got to get the book, of course, to hear the whole story. But I was sitting in a conference room with 12 other women, and these 2 women sitting next to me said something to me that really impacted me in such a tremendous way that it's really what started to open me up to start to share my story, to get myself out there and to really make that greater impact on the planet, which is what we're here to do at Action Takers Publishing. I'm really honored and blessed that the ladies have shared their stories. We have a couple of gentlemen in this book as well that are sharing their stories of like what made them decide to step up and speak out. And that was me at age 51 is when my journey started. So again, you got to get the book, Action Takers Who Step Up and Speak Out, to read my story of those 3 sentences that changed my life and how it changed my life. And just honored that, Misty came to me to have us publish this book for her, to work on it and to get the stories out there to make the greater impact on the planet. So Sherry, so excited to be doing what we're doing to help people to get their messages out into the world. Sherry is one of our, most prolific authors in our books. And so really excited that, she just keeps, coming back to share her different aspects of her story in the different books that we have coming out.
Thank you, Linda. And it's such an honor to be able to, be in a group of incredible human beings who are coming together and inspiring other people. And one of those people is the person whose this passion project is, and I know her personally, and that is Misty Lane. Misty, thank you so much for bringing your heart to this project. As I was reading through your story, which I knew some parts of it, I think I want to just acknowledge that it takes a lot to be transparent, as you were in your story in this book, as everyone in the book is. And I want to ask you really quickly, if you could, to share a few sentences about what your story is about so that people can understand what they're going to be reading. But I also want you to elaborate just a little bit on why this project means so much to you.
Sure. And thank you, Sherry, for having me here and all of us. And thank you to Linda. I want to give Linda a special thank you. Action Takers Publishing has just been phenomenal, professional, proficient. They are just an amazing company, and I'm very honored to be titled with them right now. So thank you, Linda. My story, I went through a lot. I feel like sometimes, some of us feel like we have that dark cloud over our head when we have one thing after another happen in our lives that, you know, it's like we're running into a brick wall. We're running into a brick wall. No matter how many steps forward we get, we're always taking a couple back. And, you know, it just, whether it was by choice or not by choice throughout life, we all go through that. So my particular story is about choices I made. I didn't respect my own choices. I ended up becoming addicted to cocaine. I was in medical school studying to be a surgeon. It took my life down for 10 years. And I did everything I could, struggled, therapy, acupuncture, prayer, everything I knew to do to try to overcome unsuccessfully. Unfortunately, an event did happen that was able to change my life forever. I ended up going to prison over it. And in prison is where I discovered that writing could be used as therapy. And it actually saved my life when I wrote my book, What Goes Up, which is my original story. And so for me, this story is conveying to others that you can overcome adversity. I did it. It wasn't easy. It's not going to be easy for you or the next person, but it's possible. And so it's to provide a shimmer of light, a shimmer of hope, to show that that you can survive, you know, on the other side of adversity. And the reason I'm so passionate about it is because after I got out of prison, I didn't release the book that I had written because I was too ashamed. I was too ashamed of that person that I was. I was making the changes. I was becoming a better version of myself, but I still carried a lot of guilt and a lot of shame over the person I was during the drug addiction. So I didn't do anything with the book. Fast forward 8 more years, I had a grandbaby that was born disabled. A lot of things happened around that opened my eyes to me having a voice that I wasn't using. So at that point is when I decided to step up and speak out about my story. And I had to learn how to be transparent. It's a really hard thing to do, to give your all to the world, to talk about all your failures, all your defeats, to talk about all your insecurities, or as Linda knows, all about your fears, you know, how to confront those fears. So it took a lot of hard work, but I was able to rewrite that book from a place of blame and, you know, just anger and blame. Sorry, I'm at the hospital. I've got, sorry about that. So I rewrote the book from a place of anger and blame and rewrote it out of a place of forgiveness and accountability. And it changed my life. Learning to be transparent changed my life. It allowed me to love me inside and out, whole, you know, incomplete, every part of me it allowed me to love. So I wanted to give an opportunity, a platform for others to discover how liberating freedom could be. And so that's what this book is all about, letting others step up and speak out about their story.
I love that. And I would have to say, and the design is so beautiful. And I envisioned when you were speaking, the line in the middle, actually what that is not a line. It's actually the word courage, because that's what it takes between those two steps, to step up, but not just to step up, but to have the courage to speak out, knowing that the potential is there, obviously, for you to be judged. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Misty, and really providing the platform for people like our next person as well, Sylvia Chavez. I would love for you to share a little bit about your story and what really prompted you to be part of this very special book.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having us. And thank you, Linda, because she was the one who invited me to write in this book. I think I was the last one, the last writer. And coming from Linda, I always say yes, because I know when anything that comes from Linda, it's going to be great. It's going to be good because she's just such an authentic person. So, and Misty, I've known you for a while. We are not very close because, you know, because we're kind of far from each other. But every time I read something from her, she's like this light that you can see shining everywhere. So I knew I was around amazing ladies and men. And my story is about, you know, a story of a little girl that's been abused at a young age. And unfortunately, it's a story of too many girls, and how this no that I was feeling at that moment couldn't come out from inside. And that was kind of the ghost that I had inside of myself for many, many years, until I started to finding my voice. And as a coach, I'm a love coach, and as a coach, I needed to inspire others. And everything started when I started sharing my story with others, and I realized that I was not the only one. And by sharing, others will share as well, and we will heal all together. Because I believe that when you are authentic and you share your truth, even though it's painful, and like, Misty said, being vulnerable is so hard, but it's our power. Our power is in being vulnerable and showing up as who we truly are. And in that way, we are sharing this power and inspire others to be powerful and say, speak out.
I love that, Sylvia. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think the tagline on here of empowering stories today to change a life tomorrow is exactly what you're doing with this book. And I want to give each one of you the opportunity to share just a couple sentences really quickly on what you want a reader to take away from this book. When they close the cover, what do you want them to feel or to transform inside of them based on reading all of your stories? Linda, we'll go with you first.
Yeah, I think this is tough to choose one. So I'm going to go with just to let your fears fuel you instead of fail you. Use those fears to move forward. And that is how you step up and speak out.
Love that. Thank you so much. How about you, Misty?
I would say I would like them to feel that they're not alone, to know that others out there have some similar or identical struggles, and that there's power in community. And the way that you get community is by speaking out and learning those people that are like you.
Absolutely. Love that. How about you, Sylvia?
Well, I would pick up with Misty left, is that you are not alone, absolutely not. And there's so many people around that can really help you heal and being the person you truly are. Because when we have some kind of trauma, we stop being ourselves. Mm-hmm. And that's the worst things that can happen to us, because everybody is so beautiful in its own way. And so just reach out and take the time to work on yourself, to look inside and find out who you truly are, because that's your way in life, living to the fullest. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So as I look at you all as a collective group, and I'm going to include myself in that, having been a past author, I really kind of want to ask you, somebody might be watching this and thinking, I wonder if my story could be told, or I wonder if I could write a book or share a story. I want to actually ask each one of you, what was the initial prompt for you, or what was it that was that little subtle encouragement that took you from maybe I can to yes, I can? And Linda, the question's a little bigger for you, because you not only took it a step, you just like made an entire company. So go ahead and go first, Linda.
Yeah, starting with the very first book, it was actually a collaboration book just like this, where a bunch of people were coming together to share their message. And it was my mentor. He said, hey, I really think that your story is a good fit for this book that we're working on, which that book was called Footsteps of the Fearless. And I was breaking through a fear every single day that year. So as I looked at it, I was like, well, who wants to hear my story? Who wants to read anything that I have to share? And he just shared with me that it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to step into something, bigger than myself, an opportunity to be able to participate in something that, is really going to make a greater impact on the planet, because you have more people involved in it. And so I said, yes. I was terrified, but I said yes. And that was the first door that opened that took me on a journey that I never expected would happen. So I'm glad that I said yes. It was about me saying yes to me more than it was about me saying yes to him. And that was the first step I needed to take in order to make it happen.
And what's so interesting about that, Linda, is that when you took that one step, this is something I think people sometimes don't realize, that there is such a ripple effect of our decisions, right? So you took that step, which was to write the first chapter, but look at the number of authors. I'm not sure how many, do you know how many total authors? I know it's over 100, but. in all of the books that have had the opportunity because you had the courage to
Yeah.
step up and speak out in that very first book. It's been
Yeah.
a domino.
It's over 400. So we're publishing 5 books within a 5-week period of time. And by the time we publish that 5th book, we'll have published over 400 authors. So we're at number 356 right now. So we're going to be well over 400. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so Misty, how about you? Can you share about what was that catalyst in that, or that thing that pushed you to really seal the deal, so to speak, on the first book?
So there's challenges in both parts of this. There's challenges for all of us to step up, just to face ourselves, and then there's challenges for the speaking out part. For me, writing the book was a necessity. I was sitting in a prison cell. I was facing a 40-year prison sentence. I thought my life was over, and it was my only outlet that I had. So I just started writing as therapy. I really didn't write with an intention of, I'm writing a book. You know, it just kind of came out that way. It wasn't until 8 years later that I published it. And that's, like I mentioned before, from the fear of all the different things. But what the catalyst was my grandbaby was born, and she was born blind and deaf and didn't have a voice. And she ended up passing away when she was 4. But at the time of her birth, I blamed myself for some things that had gone on, because she was born on the same day of, and I don't want to give it away, you need to read the book, but a major event happened that put me in prison, and my grandbaby was born on that same exact day 8 years later. And so I felt like her defects were my fault, like it was my punishment. So I allowed that negativity on myself, and her not having a voice to speak made me realize that God saved me for a reason, and that I was alive and sober 9 years later for a reason, and that it was time to step up and speak out about it. And that's when I decided to rewrite the book and make that step up.
Oh, that's awesome. How powerful is that? Sylvia, I would love to have you share what was that little thing that just was the thing that pushed you over the edge to actually get that chapter out.
Absolutely. Mine is not going to be very profound. It's like, I heard that you got to do this, and I did it. Yeah.
Oh, I think we have a little lost her internet a little bit. That's okay. But we lost your internet a little bit, Sylvia. Oh, she's going in.
Sorry. Right there. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I heard you, but that was obviously a message that was meant for you. That's what I heard you say. And you know what? I'm just gonna say, I hope you guys will get your copy at actiontakerspublishing.com/step up. And you can get the Kindle version for $1.99. It is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
I want to say once again, I know Linda had to hop off, but congratulations to you as best-selling authors yet again. And congratulations to Action Takers Publishing for hitting another home run also. But I just mostly want to say congratulations and thank you for being that transparent person who did step up and speak out so that other people can also heal and step up and speak out. So thank you so much, Misty, Cynthia, and Linda, for being my guest today. And congratulations, and I celebrate you all.
Thank you.